everyone's in the building to celebrate Red Alert's birthday party. And I remember it was around this time. We drove in from Jersey, our whole crew. Yeah, Pat, we get the rock for Red Alert, blah, blah, blah. Pick up the mic. Yo, what's up? Jersey's in the house. Boom! We never even got to start the first record.
Money conversations, we've been making business moves. Contemplating how to get it, need to get in tune. Different topics, we got options, you could pick and choose. If more income ain't the outcome, gotta switch the mood. We tryna help you to improve, thanks for asking. Road to riches, speak on broker days and past tense. Wealthy habits, lately I just wanna stack chips. Took a risk and we've been running up a bag since. G-Vast Quest, quick to make a couple G's. Detox, spin knowledge, put you on your feet. Bug out, got the plate, make sure to pray before you eat. At the table with the winners, come and take a seat.
Yo, what up? For the next episode of Thanks for Asking, we got a nice one for you this time too. Yo, we got Naughty by Nature, Uncle Vin Rock. He came here to the Thanks for Asking podcast. Sir. Yo, thanks to my man, Sufton Prime. Yo, that's my boy right there.
That's right.
But yo, Detox, start the interview, bro.
Let me get a round of applause.
I love how everybody look at me like, yo, what is he saying? What is he doing? He's out of control.
Nah, man, we got a legend in the building. Yo, Vin, what up, man?
Peace.
Peace, man. Sure. You did a lot in the game, man.
Yeah. We 30 plus years in the game.
30 plus?
30
yes,
plus.
Sir.
Is it 30? When did you start
again? 30 plus, 91. Do the math.
Whoa, 91. Do the math.
I'm trying to count the years before you got put the first album out.
And then 89 as the new style.
God damn, man.
Yeah, that's man. IIcons.
Yeah.
Word.
Yeah. That's a lot, yo.
Yeah, man.
Most people don't work at a job for 30 years. You think of that?
Well, they do, but then they retire. But the difference is they end up going back to Walmart or something like that. You know? In this game, if you're lucky enough to have your paper right and retire, it gets greater later.
Wow, man.
Right?
And it looked like the game been good to y'all.
Yeah, definitely. The game has been very, very good to us, you know. As people know, we came in through the game first as the new style.
Yeah.
Could have been disastrous because we signed to Sugar Hill Records first. But then after that, we kind of flipped the game, signed the Flavor Unit. So rest in peace to Mark the 45 King, Apache.
Oh, he died, Mark the 45 King?
Wow. Yep. And we signed the Flavor Unit by way of Queen Latifah and Shaquem.
Shout out to Queen.
And then we learned from all of their mistakes, and they really, really set us up with our royalties, our publishing. They taught us the game. So all the mistakes they made, we were able to stand on their shoulders. You know what I mean?
What was one of the biggest mistakes y'all seen with the Flavor Unit that y'all was like, this ain't gonna be us?
Well, it wasn't necessarily that. It was like back in the day.
Yeah.
This whole hip hop thing was new, you know, and in the 80s, it was new. It wasn't as commercial. People didn't do it for all the big money you see today.
Yeah.
And a lot of cats were just signing whatever deals that were there, you know? So just as we did as the new style, we signed any kind of deal. And Flavor Unit did the same thing with their first artists, Lakim Shabazz, Lati, you know, Queen Latifah's first deal. And then by the time we got on, you know, especially with Queen Latifah, we always, KG, Treach and I, we always looked up to her. So we saw the beginning of her career with Wrath of My Madness, Princess of the Posse, Ladies First. Yeah. And then we would look at all of the magazines and be like, yo, she gets good press. We need to get down with them and we need to be on Tommy Boy Records. But once we engaged Flavor Unit, you know, the math was different because Mark the 45 King was working with Benny Medina. Benny Medina was managing Will Smith. They had just started the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, but Benny Medina was an executive at Warner Brothers Records. So what happened was Warner Brothers distributed Tommy Boy. So our first record deal, we were signed to Warner Brothers. So we had a major record label contract. And then since Tommy Boy knew the streets, they passed the project down to Tommy Boy. So we had a major label deal structure, but we had the street savviness of Tommy Boy. Nice. And that's what really set us up.
That was a win-win situation.
Yeah, it was a win-win, you know? So we definitely stood and to this day stand on the shoulders of Flavor Unit.
Flavor Unit still a unit?
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, Flavor Unit Entertainment, that's Queen Latifah and Shakim.
They still have it?
Yeah.
Shakim, Shakim, but not Lakim Shabazz. He's still active?
Lakim Shabazz is still around. You know, he's still, come on, those are original Flavor Units. So they're Flavor Unit for life.
Gotcha.
But Queen Latifah and Shakim, they have Flavor Unit Entertainment, which they had our management, and now they're doing a bunch of television and film, and you know, the queen is still the queen.
That's
queen.
right. That's right.
She went from princess of the posse to queen of the posse.
Right.
Let's take it back to the beginning with New Style. Or should we even go back further with the origins of everybody meeting?
Yeah. So KG Treach and I, we grew up in our hometown of East Orange, New Jersey. You know, Kay and I were from the teen streets, 15th Street, 18th Street. Treach was from Grove Street. And back in the day, you know, we were all on the block, you know, doing our thing.
Right.
And I used to break dance and beatbox.
Okay.
And KG would always DJ. But I ran with Terry Peppers. And that's Jabril Peppers, the NFL player. Jabril Peppers, he played for the Giants. His dad was down with us, you know what I'm saying? So actually, his dad ran the block with K, you know? But I used to break dance with him. So after break dancing with him, I would go across the street to KG and beatbox for K while he DJ.
Yeah.
Then at the same time, I was a sophomore in high school with Treach. Every day, this kid used to come to me with a new rhyme every other day, and I beatbox for him.
Yeah.
And KG was a year older than us, so we were juniors. KG was a senior. He wanted to do the high school talent show before he graduated.
What year was this?
This was 87.
Okay.
So Treach and I graduated 88, KG graduated 87. So before he graduated, he wanted to do his talent show as a DJ.
Yeah.
But then we didn't have an MC. So I'm like, yo, Kay, there's this kid in my health class. Yeah. He comes to me with an ill rhyme every other day. His name Tiny. But we kind of knew each other from around the way doing talent shows. But when I brought Treach to Kay and he spit for Kay, he was like, bet. And then we had two other guys. We almost like the Get Fresh crew, right? Because we had two beatboxers. It was me, Octobox. Then we had two DJs. It was KG and DJ Mufi. And then Treach was our MC. What
was your name, though? What was your beatbox name?
I was just Vin Rock.
Okay,
Vin Rock the beatbox.
Are y'all still cool now? The same dudes that was in the group?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
well, Akbar, I haven't seen Ak in a minute, and we're getting to the age now. I don't even know if Ak's still living, but I want to say Ak is still living. DJ Mufi, that's our boy. He loves the Dominican Republic. I've never been there, so he's trying to get me there. And everybody else is still
has a different reputation now.
Right. And then, we had our Bomb Squad dancers, so it was a combination of the Get Fresh crew and Big Daddy Kane and those cats, you know what I mean? But that was the new style back then. We did that first talent show. We didn't even have a name of our group because I don't know how young you young brothers are, or how old you are, but back in the day, everybody used to rock routines. You would go in the club, you would rock routines. We didn't even have a name of our crew yet. We just did the talent show and we were running routines, and KG scratched the Beastie Boys. It's the new style. That's how we began our routine. So we crushed the show, and after that was our first time rocking together. After that, we was like, damn, that went over well. We don't even have a name, but that new style intro was dope.
Yeah. Right.
And that's how we formed the group, the new style.
Oh, that's dope. That's dope.
So what made Treach want to get down? I mean, I know he rapping and stuff like that, but what made him be like, all right, I'll join the group and stuff?
Yeah, well, Treach was an MC just running around the city like all of us. us. We were breakdancing, beatboxing, all of that. And that was just so pure back then, man. That's when hip hop was. It was all about skills, you know?
Yeah.
Show what you know, do what you know. It wasn't even about the big record deals yet. And I'm trying to make $1 million. You just had to be the flyest, the freshest, the most skilled. So, you know, we kind of knew each other, but K, like I said, K and I grew up like 3 blocks from each other. But Treach was in my health class, so I was like, yo, got this DJ, man. He want to check you out. And he came over and he liked our vibe too. Plus, back then we were on the block heavy too. You know what I mean? So there was like the Eric B and Rakim era. So when Treach came to our block, he saw that family vibe, and his aunt lived on our block on 18th Street. So once he saw that family vibe, saw how we were rocking, how we were moving.
Did he start hitting the block hard too?
Oh, of course. Everybody did. Everybody did. Especially once we, you know, did the talent show and we were like, you know what? We may have something here. And then we started just mastering our backyard, you know, going around Jersey, all the talent shows and this, that, and the other. And then, of course, you get the hate, you know. Your hometown will support you, but then they're like, yeah, that's fly. You'll never make it past, you know, what we doing here in the backyard. You'll never make it past that. You know?
What did that do when y'all was hearing that? Did that motivate y'all?
Of course. We were like, you know what? We got to take this thing to the next level. We definitely have to take this thing to the next level.
Yeah.
And then that's when we got the reality check of being from Jersey, trying to be down with hip hop that was born in New York. So if you wasn't from the 5 boroughs, they weren't having you at all.
So like, what was happening when y'all was trying to shop the deal, and everybody was looking at y'all like, you know, they would go, "We like y'all, but where y'all from? New Jersey." Nah, we fucking with y'all. With something like that.
That wasn't happening, yo. So, you know, we got our little rise out of the new style being from around the way, but then I remember at the time, KG's older brother, Pook, he manages Jaheim now.
Yeah.
KG's brother, Pook, he knew, I forget my man's name, but my man was a promoter and he promoted Cool DJ Red Alert's birthday party. So back then, you know, Red Alert had the Native Tongues, KRS-One, everybody was with them, man. Oh, Big Stan, that was the promoter, Big Stan. So Pook had Big Stan put us on the show. So this is Red Alert's birthday party. Oh, wow. So you can imagine, but it was big for them, but it wasn't for us, you know? Coming from Jersey, yo. So Stan put us on the show to open up the show. So remember, this is like the 80s, man. 88, 89. In the heart of Red Alert is hot. So you got the Jungle Brothers, De La Soul, Moni Love, Queen Latifah, Tribe Called Quest, KRS-One. Everyone's in the building to celebrate Red Alert's birthday party. And I remember it was around this time, you know, it's winter time. We drove in from Jersey, our whole crew, bet, we get the rock for Red Alert, blah, blah, blah. Pick up the mic. Yo, what's up? Jersey's in the house. Boo! We never even got to start the first record, yo. Boo! Boo! And at this time, we were still courting Flavor Unit. You know, we was trying to get down with Flavor Unit. Because to be honest, back then, Queen Latifah was considered like, I remember even seeing this in her bio. They was cheating her like she was from Brooklyn. You know, I remember seeing
Jersey
that.
wasn't a good spot to come out
Jersey,
as a rapper,
you could not be down in New York hip hop in the 80s if you weren't from the 5 boroughs. You know what I'm saying? So when we went there, yo, what's up? Jersey's in the building. Boo, boo. Then we tried to start the song. It's the new style. Boo, 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 boo. We got booed off the stage in front of all
How
of
you
them.
feel from that? How did you feel?
We were fucking devastated. And you know what's crazy, right? When we drove from Jersey, the roads were clear. By the time we got out that venue, snow, like 3 feet of snow.
Wow.
It was the longest, loneliest drive back to Jersey. We were like, oh, man,
ain't nobody
That's crazy.
And then since I said, yo, what's up, Jersey in the house, the whole car is like, yo, Vin, you should have never said we were from Jersey, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, that's what put the chip on our shoulder from Jersey's like, you know what, we gonna get these New York niggas, man. We gonna get them all. We'll be back, you know?
So what happened after that?
So after that, we were signed to Sugar Hill Records. We put out a what Treach calls a shelf sitter, because back then Sugar Hill was done already. All the artists were suing them and blah blah blah.
Right.
But we had a local MC, Mike C, who was dealing with them. So he was like, you know what? They're right there in Teaneck, New Jersey. So they're giving out deals. So we were like, bet, we don't care. We'll go up there and fuck with Sugar Hill, their legacy. Of course, we could flip the whole label and make them hot again. But that never happened, you know? So after all of that, and we finally courted, you know, Flavor Unit, because even after that, we got booed out of New York. We put on our own show at a college gymnasium at Uppsala College. So we invited the whole Flavor Unit to come and watch us as the new style as we were courting them. So we packed out the joint ourselves, as we were indie and we were on the block and we were hot and we were financing ourselves. So
oh my God.
We packed out the venue. You know, we performed, smashed down the venue. We gave Flavor Unit our demo. And they were like, bet, we could rock with y'all. And we were already politicking with Apache, you know, Lakim Shabazz, Mark the 45 King. Treach was rocking with them. He was our lead MC. So he was rocking with them. And when they decided to work with us, you know, Queen Latifah and Shakim, they just started Flavor Unit management. Because Flavor Unit as a crew was really held down by Mark the 45 King. And Mark was getting them all of their deals on Tough City and stuff like that. But then when Shakim and Latifah formed Flavor Unit management, we were the first artists under their Flavor Unit management. But the first thing they said is, you know what? Y'all are still signed to Sugar Hill. You got to change your name. And we got to start all over again.
Oh, man.
Shit, that wasn't no problem, though. Right
No, it was a big problem because we were married to the name, the new style. We already had our legacy, our ups and downs.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask you. When you first signed with Sugar Hill, was it under New Style?
Yeah, that was the new style record. So, and that was the dummy deal, you know? So we didn't care about the points, the splits, the anything. We just signed anything. You know what I mean? So it really is a good thing we didn't blow up as the new style. And it was a great thing that when we got with Flavor Unit, they were like, you know what? Y'all got to flip this whole thing. You got to change your name and just start anew.
What did y'all learn from being with Flavor Unit? Like at that, like how did they change what y'all did as far as like how y'all moved, as far as like handling business and understanding things? Did they show y'all all of that, or was it like everybody was learning at the same time on the fly?
I think at a certain point, everybody was learning at the same time. But when we got with Flavor Unit, our deal was real. Because Queen Latifah was rocking already. You know, they had Soul Sonic Force, Force MDs. They had everybody on Tommy Boy.
I forgot about them.
Oh, that's right.
And they had De La Soul, you know what I mean? De La Soul, Queen Latifah. So we started going to real industry events. You know what I mean? And now it's like once we got with Flavor Unit, signed with Warner Brothers, the project got passed to Tommy Boy. Now we were really, really in the industry. So we were able to come and see everybody, you know, see how the industry really works. And all of our favorite artists we looked up to, we were able to see them and we were like, bet. But the thing about it is that we were already seasoned. You know what I mean?
Because that was the good thing, though.
We came from the club scene where there was no records on the radio, there was no videos rocking. So everything really was all about the live routine and the live party rocking shit.
That's dope. That's dope.
So you get signed. Now you guys are developing the album. How does that work out? Like, because it seemed like KG was a DJ. When was he producing while y'all was still mastering your stage performances, like before the deal, or did he start producing like once he got signed? Nah,
KG was a producer even as the new style. So KG produced all of that new style stuff. And if that came out in 88, 89, we were working on that stuff 86, 87. So K was literally 16, 17 years old, producing for the new style. And then, you know, so once we got signed and changed our name to Naughty by Nature, we had batches and batches of new style records that we just transferred over and we were working on new stuff. So like a record like Yoke the Joker.
Yeah.
So that's one of Eminem's favorite songs, Yoke the Joker with Treach. I can snap
right.
rap,
He stayed big on
I think he
track.
did that on the Art of
Rap.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Art of Rap.
Yeah.
But if you listen to that song, the beginning of that song, it goes, new style. He's cutting in Queen Latifah, new style. Yoke the Joker was a new style song.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
Okay.
That was
So
before Guard Your Grill, Knuckle Up, and all that stuff.
Yeah, but that was on the first album. So all of that was on the first album. So some of those old new style records bled into the Naughty by Nature shit.
Got you.
with that being said, like, how did y'all figure out who position when it came to being in the group?
Well, we always knew it because organically, KG was always the DJ.
Yeah.
Then he started doing beats. I was always the beatbox.
Yeah.
So I was never the rapper. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we were looking for an MC. So
Yeah.
Treach was the one rhyming to me all the time. I brought him to the table to be our MC. But it's just that back then, you know, everybody from the Fat Boys, Dougie Fresh, the Skinny Boys, everybody had a beatbox in their crew.
Yeah.
But
That's
that
a
was
fact.
weaning off. You know what
I
I
was about
mean?
to say that, yeah. Like,
And then our crew internally, they always liked my voice. Like, Vin, you got a dope voice. You got a dope voice. You got to start rhyming. You know what I mean? I was like, well, that's not really my skill set.
yeah.
But, you know, with us performing and doing routines, it was like, fuck it.
Cause you never really was no hype man. You was kind of in the crew, but from beatboxing.
I felt like he said, you was in the crew, but it felt like when I hear it now, it's like you're just gonna fill in with any spot that's missing. I'm gonna put my imprint on that part right there.
It was almost like a cheat code because you did have Flavor Flav, you know, from Public Enemy, and you had these other elements, which was the evolution of the hype man. So since Treach was our MC, he started writing for me initially, you know, and then we would go back and forth. But of course, when it came to recording, he was the lead MC.
Yeah.
So I was learning how to write, and he was teaching me how to write up under him. But with our just organic club experience, that whole just rocking together and the cheat code, I called it the cheat code because by the time we came out with O.P.P., our stage show was so energetic, and everybody always saw me assisting Treach. I was like Scottie Pippen, and with Treach, he rhymed so fast, and he was like, that if a normal solo MC performed those songs by themselves, it wouldn't come off the same. But we had a cheat code, and I knew all of the rhymes. Like you said, I knew all of the empty spots, and you know, when we did shows, everybody else is like, yo, that shit, the energy is like hard to compete with.
Yeah.
And I know y'all realize, like in the early 90s, after we came out, everybody and their grandmother had a hype man.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
But you wasn't per se a hype man.
But it
was.
was. I would say
We
that.
didn't see you as a hype man.
Yeah,
though. You was
nobody
like the
saw you
second
that.
MC on
That's
there.
a fact.
But you know what?
Like Fife was.
Yeah.
But a lot of and I think Fife was definitely more of an MC than I was, you know, because Fife taught, as I understand, Fife taught Q-Tip how to rap. You know what I'm saying? So it's the exact opposite, and Q-Tip was the standout.
Yeah, 'cause he
I
had the
never
voice.
even wanted to rhyme, you
yeah.
know. I'm just bringing Treach to the table to be our MC, and they just happen to like my voice.
Yeah, you saying that now is more understandable because the way we looked at it, it was like you just wasn't around sometime, and when you was around, then you started rapping. That's how it looked.
And one thing I want to say is that this is a misnomer. You got to clear this up. Because we was under the impression.
That's right, G-Van.
We was under the impression that you wrote Ghetto Bastards because your name was under the credits. We started paying attention at that time, and it had your name under there, and we didn't see it under anything else, so we swore. So we just wanted you to clear that misnomer up.
Nah, what happened was it was business, and that business started from the block. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So when we were on the block and we were the new style, we all worked together. We had a whole family. Sam will tell you. We had our whole family, and as we were working, we were on the block, we financing the studio, and we're all working as a unit. So when we formed the group, we said, you know what? We're splitting everything all three ways. So it was the publishing, it was the merchandising, it was the shows. We were the three-man threat. So we split everything all three ways, and that's why you saw on the publishing credits, we all got credit. Because from the block all the way through, we were a team.
Not to cut you off, but back at that time, we would rush to get those books open to see who wrote what.
That's a fact.
You trying to look at the book.
That's a fact.
Who wrote this? Who did
That's a
what?
fact.
Who made this beat? So when we seen it there, and that was something new at that time when they started combining everybody under the writers thing. Even the people who did the beats, they started doing that later. Before they didn't do it like that.
And you get
so
your
you
credit.
Had
you get your credit. But definitely, you know, all three of us, we always equally participated in the making of our songs.
Let me ask you something though, like, cause sometimes it gets to that, right? Fairness, right? Like the leader, the DJ, and whatever role would you have. Did you think it was fair for you to get an equal opportunity like that?
The same money Treacher's getting?
Yeah, definitely, because again, you got to look at the organics of it, you know? I'm rocking with K, I bring Tretch in, we start working together, we're on the block. I ended up being the stash man on the block, you know what I mean?
Okay.
So we worked as a team across the board. And again, not only was it from the block, when we went in the studio, all hands on deck. We were all there, you know, working on these records, crafting everything together.
I asked you that, not to cut you off, I asked you that because people in groups, it go through that same problem, you know what I'm saying, and don't know they value, you know what I'm saying, of that. You know what I'm saying? But you saying your value, so it makes more sense now.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because it's not just contribution on the actual record, but making a record is more than just putting your voice on the record.
Right.
It's financing.
Yeah,
It's scheduling. It's making sure everybody comes on time. It's making sure the performances.
The whole marketing.
That's
you
producing.
running a whole company.
Yeah, that's producing.
It's a whole culture that you're part of, that you even start amongst your group, that he's also rhyming about, that you kind of, you know.
And that's why even today, when I speak to younger people and people forming a group, I'm like, well, listen, y'all need to have these hard conversations when you're starting, because, you know, while everybody's broke, everybody agrees to be like, yo, we're all in this together and we're all contributing together. But then, win, lose, or draw, you don't think about it. But then when you win, now everybody is like,
that's a fact.
Wait a minute.
You only put in this.
Yeah. And now it's a whole different ball game. But when we were out here starving and risking our lives, everybody was together. That's just like y'all running the barbershop.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact.
I give you a lot of credit and a lot of adulation, because we're a group. This whole podcast is a group, and you know, like, I don't really tell them, but I see it when everybody's coming together to make a group. They try to, you know, they see it, you know, like you see, oh, we about to get some success, and then everybody start breaking off before you even get to that pinnacle of where you're supposed to go. You guys stayed together. Like, how did that go? Like,
It
that
wasn't
don't happen
easy,
a lot.
though. I know it wasn't easy.
That shit wasn't easy.
I know it wasn't easy.
But it was easy because we set the foundation early. We set the foundation from the block. So you got to realize this isn't about the new style or Naughty by Nature. Our organization started from the block. We out here risking our lives, and niggas is shooting at us and robbing us and hijacking us and running down in the crib and all of this. That's where it starts. You see what I'm saying? And I just want to cheat to, I see today, everybody who starts a podcast, man, you niggas are worse than fucking rap groups. As soon as y'all get momentum, everyone's fragmented and all that. But I will say that's what I see about a bunch of podcasts. Obviously, these hard conversations aren't had.
That's a fact.
Before you even set up one light, one camera,
That's a
one
fact. That's a
action.
fact. That's why I'm glad we talked about it just now, so they can know where we coming from.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying from hey, where you're hosting this thing to whomever contributes what, you need to, even if it's not equal splits, you need to have this conversation and say, well, listen, man, let's sort this out. Let's figure out who deserves what. If we all agree, let's go to the lawyer. And once we put this relationship on paper, let's stick to it. But when you go up and you just start freestyling without a business agreement on paper, you leave room for all kinds of hell to break loose.
Absolutely. And you know, for us, that was a big thing with us. Like we didn't start off that way. We started off just breaking the splits down and talking about this, and you know, of course, it was a bit contentious to a degree, but now that it's done, it feels so much better. Because we know where we stand.
You know, you don't have to put your mind on that.
We know where we stand.
And now you can work on being creative. You're not worried about the business. You double down on all of that. Double down on that business relationship. Whatever the name of your podcast is, you make sure you get that trademark. Whatever your business relationship is, you make sure everyone has equity in that. And then if the business is straight, all you have to do is worry about creativity. It's hard enough booking decent guests anyway. That's the biggest challenge.
That's a fact. Let me give a shout out to Sound.
That's why I'm here.
That shit be hard, bro. I be on the phone all the time. I ain't gonna lie.
But imagine that, and in the back of your head is like, man, this business ain't right anyway, and I gotta run a barbershop, and I gotta do this, and I got kids, and I got all that, man. This shit ain't worth it, yo. And then I come in one day, and this nigga tripping and all that, and we still don't know where we are business-wise. You know what I'm saying? So you don't want to do that, and that's what helped us, you know, get as far as we did, because we had our business relationship from the street, but then we learned from the new style that we dodged a bullet because we did loose business even with the record label. So by the time we got with Flavor Unit and we flipped it to Naughty by Nature, then we went to the lawyer, the name, the trademark, the everything. We decided 3 equal splits along the way, and let's rock. And eventually it did change once we started having super duper success, but at least we had that as a foundation.
That's a fact. That's a fact. That's dope.
Yeah, that's
dope.
That's great. Let's go back to the 89, 90s. You guys are signed to Warner. You guys make O.P.P. Break that down. How did that?
That's Naughty by Nature, right? One more thing before we get in there. How did you get the name Naughty by Nature? How did that even come about?
So again, as I explained earlier, a lot of stuff that happened with Naughty by Nature came from the new style. So once we got with Flavor Unit Management and signed up, they were like, first thing that's got to go is your name, the new style. And you got to come with a new name.
How did you get Naughty by Nature?
We all started brainstorming, thinking. Treach went into his rhyme book, and Naughty by Nature was the title of a new style song.
Got you.
So we actually had a song called Naughty by Nature, and we can't find that song till this day. We can't find it. But that was the name of a new style song. And then we were like, Naughty by Nature. And back then, this is the play. So back then, when we first signed the Flavor Unit, Shakim and Chris Lighty from Violator, they formed the management company together. So it was actually Flavor Unit Baby Sounds. So Flavor Unit had us as Naughty by Nature. Chris Lighty had Black Sheep.
Okay.
So if you think about it, The Choice Is Yours and Naughty by Nature's O.P.P. came out at the same time.
And they both was hot.
And we both had pure Flavor Unit Baby Sounds. So I remember Shakim, Chris Lighty, and Jimmy Henchman, because Shakim is Haitian, Jimmy Henchman is Haitian. They all came on our block, and they were trying to figure out this name, Naughty by Nature. They were like, we think it's too long. We think it's, Right. So then Treach was like, nah, look, we on the block. He's like, look, everybody out here is Naughty by Nature. We from the block. Everybody is out here doing their thing. And then we just stood our ground. It's like, nah, we're good in-house. The name is Naughty by Nature, and that's how we move.
That's dope, bro.
It's crazy that y'all had that kind of confidence to do that, even amongst people who was already in the business and proven, and y'all still was like, this is us? Because that's not the first time. That's not the only time you had to do that. Y'all had to do that with O.P.P, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, because again, when we worked on that first album and we were deciding the first single, it was O.P.P. and Wickedest Man Alive featuring Queen Latifah was the B-side. Doom, 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 naughty,
And it wasn't bad. Like, I can see why somebody would pick that.
Dope.
Yeah.
But the thing is that song was more urban because it had a reggae feel to it and all of that. Wickedest Man Alive. So it was a toss-up between which would be the A-side, which would be the B-side. But with O.P.P., we were like, yo, this is other people's pussy, other people's penis.
Right.
That, you know, because it had a commercial feel with the ABC Michael Jackson shit, we were like, yeah, but the subject matter is like
Crazy.
Age-old infidelity. Men, women, everybody cheat.
That's
so
a fact.
O.P.P. is the shit. And we decided, nah, we want O.P.P. to be our
That
single.
was a big song for y'all
Was it
too,
a
bro.
big
song?
Y'all had
Yo.
the stickers. That shit was
Yeah,
everywhere.
yeah.
That really was a
I don't
big
even know. That
hip
was like
hop
the
song,
first
bro.
big movement in hip
That's a
hop with the
fact.
stickers
That's
and
a fact,
pins.
yo.
Everybody
Y'all
else
was doing it in the
everywhere.
video. That shit was crazy.
Yeah,
bro.
But I would credit a lot of that to Tommy Boy Records because again, they had De La Soul, they had Digital Underground before us. Remember the Humpty Dance and
I remember that. That was all before you?
all of that stuff.
That
so
was before you?
Huh?
Humpty before
Yeah,
you?
that was before us.
Wow.
That was before us. And then De La Soul, the Daisy Age. Remember they made them the hip hop hippies and all of that
89,
stuff.
maybe 89, 88. But y'all came out like 90, right?
We came out, O.P.P. came out in 91.
91. That's
Yeah,
what it
yeah.
is, right.
So we kind
91.
of just opened up that 90s era, but it was that marketing prowess with, you know, Tommy Boy Records, with all of those acts before us that once they got a hold of Naughty by Nature and O.P.P., as a matter of fact, if you look at O.P.P.'s video, right, we didn't even have the logo yet. If you look at the DJ booth on the O.P.P. video, it's some generic ass font. It's not even the font that we had. So they were doing the marketing, and Monica Lynch and Mark Weinberg, who was the art director, they came with the first logo. And then she made the boxers, she made the O.P.P. stickers, and because we were on the block and we always did our merch as Naughty as New Style, we picked up on that, and everything that, you know, Tommy Boy made, we had a bag, so we quadrupled down on it. So they made a batch of stickers. We made 20 batches of stickers.
That's why you had all those stickers.
And we had everybody working
They
and
was
street
everywhere,
team and
bro.
all of that
Everywhere,
shit.
yo. How
We
did
had
you
that shit
feel with
everywhere.
that single being so big like that? How did you feel at that time? That shit
Well,
was crazy.
and here's the thing about that single, that when we sent it to urban radio, it wasn't working. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody was playing the B-side. You know what I'm saying? They was playing Wickedest Man Alive. But since Tommy Boy did have those commercial crossover records with De La Soul and Digital Underground and Humpty Dance, they started sending O.P.P. to commercial radio. Then it started taking off. But then, again, with our relationships with Red Alert from the New Style and Bismarcky and Cool V, we had co-signers this time. You know what I mean? Because they saw us on the underground club circuit. Red Alert knew. We went through the growing pains. They was like, man, these guys.
So y'all was the perfect storm.
Yeah,
like, you know what I'm saying? That's what made it crazy.
And
yo.
we had that chip on our shoulder.
Yeah,
We was like, yo.
So when y'all came back to New York, what was it like?
Yeah, we were like, listen, take that.
That's crazy.
But the other thing was, we were seasoned vets on
That's
that
a fact.
stage,
That's a
man.
fact.
So
Doing that,
niggas
right.
know. Like, I remember our first time doing the Apollo, man. I remember going to Apollo. We was so hot. We entered the Apollo when it was daylight outside. We had one show, turned into a second show, and then it turned into a third show, yo. So we did like a 7 o'clock show, 11 o'clock show, and like a 3 a.m. show. We got out of there, it was the next morning, yo. Daylight in that bitch.
Shit.
So we were like back. But at the end of the day, man, New York embraced us and
That's
it was
a
like,
fact. Hell yeah. That's a
bet,
fact.
y'all Jersey niggas, but y'all got that. Y'all got that.
That was hot, bro.
Did Michael Jackson take you out to the cleaners for that sample?
Well, it wasn't Michael Jackson. It was Joe Bett. So Joe Bet Publishing, and that was owned by Quincy Jones and Barry Gordy.
Oh, because that's a Jackson 5.
Yeah, that was Jackson 5.
Okay.
Really Barry Gordy and them. And yes, they took about 85% of that record. You know what I mean?
Y'all still grew.
85.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But our 15% on
Was
a
a
record
lot,
like
like
that,
compared to-
times
right.
the
That's a
shows
fact.
we able to
Right.
do
That's a
today,
fact.
it's like
85.
we would have given them 100%.
Yeah, give them 100%.
They could have took 100% of that one. You know what I mean?
Especially that's your first record, too,
Then y'all
like-
could do no wrong after that.
Yeah.
Y'all wasn't doing
Yeah.
no wrong after that.
Yeah.
No, he did because that was 91, but didn't Juice come out in 91 with Uptown Anthem? That
Nah,
wasn't the same?
Juice was like 92.
The next year.
Yeah, so when we had we dropped the single, then we dropped the album in 92, but at that time Latifah was doing Juice.
Yeah.
And
She was
then
in it, yeah, she was a DJ.
Yeah, she was
But she
in
had a song
Juice.
on the soundtrack too.
And she was an actual cast member. So
Yeah.
since we were signed to Flavor Unit Management
gotta-
and Treach blew up off of O.P.P, we were like, bet, we gonna get him into television
Yeah,
and
murdered
film
that
too.
Uptown
With
Anthem.
Latifah.
Was you in it too?
No.
Why wasn't you in it?
I never wanted to be an actor.
Oh, for real?
I never wanted to be a
You
rapper.
wanted to be a- I'm telling you, you wanted to be a
That
rapper.
fucking game changed me, man. You know what I'm saying? I guess I look at it, you know, years later, I'm like, I'm a conduit and I help manage this thing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And keep it tight, and you know, we'll get into it later, but just keeping the fucking vultures away.
Yeah,
you know
that's
what I
a
mean?
fact.
Because we come from the block.
That's a
It's
fact.
like, where was all you niggas from the block
That's a
to
fact.
we evolve past the new style? Now we're naughty by nature. Now everyone has something to say. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's like, and I always stayed focused with just protecting the bag, man, because these vultures are trying to come and pick everybody apart, you know?
That didn't bother you, because I'm always curious about, because everybody can't be the superstar,
Right.
And in your group's case, it was Treach. That didn't bother you, that he was being exalted, and I mean, you guys were there, you know, everybody knew who you was, but you know, y'all didn't get the same attention as Treach.
Well, and this is because this is what it was meant to be.
Okay.
I was never a rapper. I was the
Yeah.
beatbox. I'm like, here's this ill-ass kid that's in my health class spitting to me every day.
Right.
You're like
And
the
now
orchestrator.
when I look at it, I'm like, well, shit, I fucking discovered this kid and brought him to the table. So this is what I saw in Treach when I brought him to the table with K. And I'm like, he's our guy. This is our rap dude. You know, it was never in my wildest dreams would I ever be a rapper.
I don't think you know how much you cleared that up with people that wanted to know that. You know what I'm saying? You cleared that up just now. By saying that. Word.
But that's what it was. I'm like, yo, we need a rapper. This kid in my health class is ill.
Yeah.
Right.
So then I brought Treach to the table, and K was like, bet. And then we started working on him. We started working together, and Treach was always our MC. Like, had it not been for the group, Treach would be a solo artist. You know what I mean?
Did he ever feel like he should have been by himself instead of in a group like that?
I think when we were first shopping our deals, you know, they tried to extract him. But again, we came from the block. We had that brotherhood. We was like, it's all or nothing. We are a group.
Yeah.
And then Treach understood, like, production-wise, what KG did. We had a unique sound. So it wasn't like we were working with different producers or even Mark the 45 King, bless his soul. One of our biggest regrets is that Mark is the one who got us in the Flavor Unit, you know, as far as the MCs and the crew accepting us. But to this day, Mark never produced a record
Oh, wow.
on
Because he
us.
did beats
that's
too.
crazy.
That's
He did all that.
crazy.
Because
That's
KG
crazy.
was always our in-house
it.
guy.
Right, you didn't need him to do it.
Wow.
KG was always our in-house producer. You know what I'm
The
saying?
man who did Hard Knock Life never did a beat for y'all.
Yeah.
Never did no.
And what's ill about KG, he doesn't have a distinctive sound. Like, you know, some artists, I mean, some DJs, you know they sound.
Well, actually, he does because K came with the pianos from O.P.P. to Uptown Anthem to Everything's Gonna Be All Right.
You can tell it if you hear it. Like
You could tell K if
tell
you hear
it.
it, and then he spun it off into the R&B flavor.
Yeah.
So with Next, Janae, Jaheim, all of that is KG sound.
Y'all gotta have
K
a career,
definitely
bro.
has a
Yeah,
signature
yeah,
sound.
Y'all tentacles is everywhere.
But
in Jersey.
but I would say that, you know, for Treach, and I can't speak for him, so there may have been a dynamic, and maybe later where we are now, he may feel like, yo, I could have been went solo, you know? However, we did have a unique sound. You
That's
know,
a fact.
people know that Naughty by Nature sound.
That's a fact.
When you hear it, and it's a combination of all three of us working together. You know, you separate it, then it would be something totally different.
You lose that nucleus.
Yeah. So that first album, where it went platinum?
Yeah, that was double platinum.
Double platinum. Double platinum.
And then the cassette, that we had a double platinum single, double platinum album.
Ooh, just
There wasn't no pressure for this next album. Like,
Oh,
can y'all
yeah.
do it again? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, of course. There's always the sophomore jinx.
Yeah.
Then we're like, here go these fucking bootleg niggas from Jersey. We definitely put pressure on New York hip-hop because we had a run, man. You know?
Yeah, I did.
We had a crazy run. We had O.P.P, then we had Everything's Gonna Be All Right. And to go back to what you were saying, during that time, you know, Queen Latifah was in the Juice movie. They brought Treach over. There wasn't really a role for him, but they cheated him in. And that's why Treach always say, I was only the only black guy in a Puerto Rican gang on that shit. You know what I'm saying? So they cheated him in, but the soundtrack came up. So we were able to do that song, the Uptown Anthem
That shit was
record,
crazy,
for
too.
the Juice soundtrack.
Fire
And then we
sound.
tacked it on to our first album because the album had already released and Uptown Anthem wasn't on it. But then as the soundtrack blew up, we tacked it on to the album. So whatever was selling, the next batch, Uptown Anthem was
so it's not on
attached to
the
it.
first batch is not on?
Yeah, nah, the first batch of our first album, Uptown Anthem wasn't on it.
that's ill.
You know what I mean? So yeah, it was a lot. So for that and us being a unit and moving forward, it's like, you know, y'all would have to get Treach in here to get his perspective on that. You know what I
We
mean?
like that, but yeah, we would do that. Anyway, so what was the mindset of the second album?
Well, the second album was like, you know what? We were in our groove. And again, we were confident because we came from New Style. We already had our stage show. We knew we came from the club scene and rocking live. And now it was like bet. I always liken it to Will Smith, The Pursuit of Happiness, you know? It was like he struggled during the whole movie, and now when he finally made it, he's running down the street fucking slow motion like, yo. So for the second album, it was like, psh, we got this because we already knew that coming from the club scene, you know, you got to rock live. It's all about crowd interaction, the choruses, the party rocking. And once we hit with O.P.P and all of that, we were like, bet, this is going to be a fucking cakewalk and we'll continue to do what we do.
Yeah.
And then we worked on the second album. And of course, we always had extra records.
Yeah.
So we had leftovers from the first album, went into the second album. And, you know, with us being from Jersey, always going in Harlem, we always heard the chorus, hip hop, hey ho, you know what I mean? We skated at the rink in Bergenfield, so all the Harlem cats was always up there. Shout to Mario from the rink, you know, and Treach came with the chorus for Hop Hooray. So that ended up being our first single off the second album.
Y'all knew that as soon as he made it.
Oh, of course.
Oh,
Easy.
my
That
God.
was like,
That song was bigger than the first O.P.P.
Probably neck and neck. Probably neck and neck.
Wow.
They
I
were
remember that
both
one.
monsters.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
it
saying?
sure was.
They were
Sure
both
was.
monsters. And then, yeah, by then we were rocking. So we knew that one would be
But
crazy.
that beat on Juice, that Uptown Anthem is legendary. It's legendary,
yeah.
man. That, as soon as you don't,
Yeah.
You feel like you watching Juice. You hear that shit.
Yeah. And, you know, the famous story goes that K was going to throw that beat away. Because when we were working on that song for the soundtrack, we were in the studio. K is running through beats. And he's just like, Treach is like, yo, what's that? There's a beat and whatever. No. Give me that. And he went in, chefed that shit up, and we ended up with Uptown Anthem, man. And that's the thing about songs like that. It's like you don't go in with intentions on making a song like that. You just like, we're just in here making records. And then that's one of those joints that pop out on it.
Right. That was fire.
Outside of the music, what was life like? Who was the partier? Who was the
We all partied. I think when it comes to me, K, and Treach, K is the most conservative. And I think K is more conservative because we come from the streets. And K used to get it in back in the day. If you look at the New Style album cover, he had the high top fade. He had all the jewelry and all that. K was getting it in them streets, you know? And you could tell real niggas from the streets because if they really got it in the streets, they don't like to talk about it. They don't like to brag about it. It's like, I went to war and I bodied niggas, but I don't want to talk about that because you took lives. I'm not saying K was a killer.
I know what you're
I'm just saying he killed them on the streets with his shit. So K is like, look, man, we get out here, bro. I don't want nobody saying I did anything. He's worried about Ricos back in the early 90s. You know what I mean?
That's a fact.
Like, look, man, I don't want to talk about that stuff. It is what it is. We talking about music. You know what I'm saying? So K has always been the most conservative one. You know what I mean? Me, I feel I'm in the middle because I am conservative, and K and I, you know, we were the back end brains of the operation. You know what I'm saying? And I had to work with K, again, navigating the streets into this transition. And then Treach was the star of the show. So, of course, with him blowing up and everyone's coming at him, he's going to have a totally different experience than the two of us.
Right.
But definitely, Treach and I, we fucking got it in. You know what I mean?
Right.
And from partying to the chicks to you name it.
Can I get a war story?
We definitely had our time.
Can I get a war story, man?
A war story like what?
Of the women.
Nah. Well,
no, thank you.
We ain't gonna get that crazy. Any industry chicks you want to talk about?
No, look, my big brother Mike Tyson said then, never incriminate yourself. No, but we did. We of course, you can imagine every fucking rock star story. And then we had the song O.P.P. People's Pussy.
I just turned it up.
Yo, to this day, a chick will walk up, and that's the cheat code. Hey, Vin, I'm down with O.P.P. Or they'll walk up and, hey, Vin, you down with O.P.P.? You know? And depending on how they look, come in, what's your number? I know what time it is. That's the gift that keeps on giving. But we're more mature now, for the record, folks.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is long gone, you know what I'm saying? You took Puffy on tour first, right?
Yeah, well, when Puff and them blew up, they weren't savvy about touring, you know? So our tour manager, Rebecca Foster, she did us, Swung, Queen Latifah. So when we went on that first tour together with Biggie and Mary and Junior Mafia and Puff and them, then they hired Rebecca to do all of their tour management for them. So we were more experienced with booking the tour bus, the hotels, all of the routing, and we did that whole run together. So
so y'all knew Big.
Yeah, hell yeah. We knew Big like a motherfucker. As a matter of fact, Big used to come to our shows when we blew up with O.P.P. when he was Biggie Smalls before he turned into B.I.G.
Right.
And then I remember one time when I hear him talk about Howard Homecomings, one time I was down at Howard Homecoming and me and Big was fucking with Ron G. You know? So literally me and Big helped Ron G carry his crates into the party that night. And then we fucked around with each other, you know, the whole night. And before the night, Big was like, yo, Vin, let's take a picture together. So we went on the backdrop thing and we took the picture. And I don't have it anymore, but it's on the internet. I took a picture of it. Big wrote down his phone number and his beeper number. And I knew Big was on a come up because when you look in that picture, I got on a crispy pair of Timbs. And Big, he had on his vest his Timbs was all scuffed up. Big was on the come up, yo. But Big was a big fan of Naughty. I mean, I remember we were in North Carolina. You know, KG was like, "Yo, this guy Biggie Smalls is out there. You know, just fucking with us." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we had history with those dudes,
Right.
Definitely.
And Tupac, when you
You will for that. I was getting ready to say
Yeah,
that. I promise I
yeah.
was.
Was you friends with Tupac?
Yeah. I was friends with Pac, but Treach and Pac met when we were still on the block and we had signed to Flavor Unit Management and they were still shopping our deal.
It's 80s or 90s?
This was the 90s.
Okay.
This was 90s, yeah. So Latifah was on tour with Digital Underground, Heavy D and the Boys and all that. And back then she couldn't afford to take all of us on the road. They took Treach out to be her roadie, and then in the middle of her show, he would come out and freestyle.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing Tupac was doing with Digital Underground.
Yeah.
So he was an
yeah,
up and coming MC. He would do his little segment with Digital Underground, but him and Treach were roadies carrying bags for
Right, they're the
both
same thing,
groups.
so they got cool that way, right?
So they got cool like that, and then when they both went home, that's when the Juice movie happened. And I remember Pac had that role, and then Treach and I used to always go up to Harlem and check him in his trailer. And I do remember this one time. Pac was in his trailer, and one of the PAs, production assistants, opened the trailer and was like, "Pac, we're getting ready for you." La la la. He's like, "All right." She walked away and left the door open. So I remember Pac in his Scarface voice, on like, "Hey, what do you think this is, Hawaii?" Close my door, you know. And he closed the door. But I knew Pac definitely had skills. And I remember being in his hotel room with him and Treach, just freestyling back and forth. Pac was just spitting like crazy, man. Crazy.
I know you don't want, I'm saying, who won that? Who won that?
I would give them both because Pac was a fan of Treach because we had our first album.
Right.
out.
Y'all was out pretty much first, like more dominant than Pac was.
Actually, the same time though, because he had that Tupacalypse album out.
Trapped up and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
And
y'all was still, y'all was crazy.
I don't think nothing on that album was better than O.P.P. Well, but Brenda Had a Baby, maybe?
Nothing bigger,
Yeah.
but
it was nothing
Right.
bigger, but Pac was definitely on his way, and he was
Yeah, he
definitely
definitely was
coming.
on his way. I get
And
that.
he was definitely talented, and he was spitting. So I definitely remember in
It was
that
even that day. You gonna leave it at that?
that room. Yeah. They both got it in.
They both won.
nobody knows. Yo. We ain't gonna do that.
right.
So when y'all did was it Hop Hooray, the second album and stuff like that?
Yep.
And then what was the third album again? The third album.
Third album was Poverty's Paradise, and that's where Filmy Flow came off of that third album.
Okay. Oh, right.
Yeah,
Filmy
I forgot
Flow.
about
That's what
that.
I was thinking of too. Like
Yeah, I forgot about that.
y'all always had like a big staple.
Yeah. Wow.
That shit was my shit too,
Wow.
man. That was my shit too.
Y'all got some shit, bro.
Word, yo, word. So when did things start going awry? Like y'all started tapering off, and the group wasn't as tight as it was.
I think that stuff started happening, I believe, once K started producing outside of Naughty by Nature. Because when we blew up, we had the record label, which was Illtown Records. We had Naughty Gear, which was the store and the merchandise. And then we had Illtown Films. So I was responsible for the merchandise. Treach was responsible for Illtown Films. And K was responsible for Illtown Records. And all three of us were 3 equal partners on all 3 businesses.
Right.
Plus Naughty by Nature, that was 4 different businesses. So we had Naughty by Nature, 3 equal partners. Naughty Gear, which was the merchandise, 3 equal partners. Illtown Records, 3 equal partners. Illtown Films, 3 equal partners.
That's so ill, bro.
You know what I'm saying? And K started producing, so he produced Janae, Hey Mr. DJ. That was the first joint.
Yeah.
And then they had their records, and K, you know.
So y'all kind of did y'all get a piece of that because it went through Illtown Records?
Yeah, because
that's dope.
that was a production deal, but the publishing was separate.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The publishing was separate. And I think that's when things started getting crazy because we had a crew of guys around us, like an army, from Simon M, SNL to Newark. You know, that's the big city in East Orange. I mean, in Jersey. Then we had the East Orange cats. So a lot of cats wanted to rap and rhyme. And then we had the Rotten Rascals. Is you with me? Oh, yeah, we holding the fort. We ain't going nowhere.
I remember that.
Yeah, that joint. Right. And Fam rhymed on the Hey Mr. DJ record.
Right.
Once
How
again,
was that
so
dude? We thought he was dope.
So he was
we
part
never
of the
heard nothing
Rotten
else from him,
Rascals.
though.
Exactly. So it became a thing where we had a lot of guys who wanted to rap and come up under us, like a Rockefeller or, state property and all of that. But KG, again, K is more conservative, and he came out of the streets. He saw where this shit was going with this rap shit. And he was like, you know what, man? And K is more melodic by nature.
Yeah.
He started producing R&B. So he's like, look, man,
Oh, you don't want to deal with the hip hop.
I don't want to deal with all of this ratchet shit, man. And I'll dab in it, and he always had it. But once he started catching it with Janae, then he did Next, then he did Jaheim, and K was over there with it, kind
And
of.
R&B Money was treating him very well.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was
And
easier.
I think that's when
And it was hits.
Right.
things started going awry because Naughty starts to suffer. You know, Treach is definitely a hungry MC. He's like, yo, feed me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it just disrupted the momentum. And I think that's when things started happening. And of course, all three of us, we had 3 different businesses. Treach is running a film company. I opened this store downtown Newark, the Naughty Gear store. K is running a label. And shit just started going awry.
Oh, man. What was that? Around like 1999 or something
That
like
was
that?
no, that was like 94.
Oh, my God.
That was 94, 95 because I opened the store. I opened the store in 94.
Okay.
So I had the store from 94, 95. And my concept of that was, you know, you got the Disney store. So if we had a Naughty by Nature store, then we had the record label, so every act that we put out, we could have their merch in there.
Yeah.
We have the film company, we start producing films, that merch could be in there, film posters and all that. So I felt that if we had a retail store, that would be our hub to just feed everything we were doing.
Yeah. And Treach was like, nah, I need the music still, the main thing still has to be the main thing.
Yeah. And I think that, you know, and again, y'all got to get him in here to speak for himself.
Right.
But, you know, once KG,
This is your truth, though. This is your truth.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm, you know, from the outside looking in, I know that Treach was like, yo, you got to feed me, man. Like, we need more Naughty records. Like, Next, Janae, Jaheim, all that is cool, but what about Naughty? You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm saying about KG. He definitely had a signature sound. So from O.P.P to Uptown Anthem to Everything's Gonna Be All Right to Hip Hop Hooray to Feel Me Flow, that's KG's signature sound. And then he took that over to the R&B side and made a signature sound with Next, Janae, and Jaheim. So it's not like you can go out and get other producers and all of that, but, you know, I could imagine for Treach, this is my guy. This is my Dr. Dre.
Yeah.
Right.
And at a certain point where it becomes inconsistent, it becomes a problem.
And, you know, we had Chris Gotti here, and he was making a point that anytime you break up, like, the chemistry, it's never the same.
Right.
So I guess I would understand why he would feel that way, because it's like, why mess up a perfect formula?
Right. And or if you're the anchor of the movement, I should always be priority, just out of respect on GP.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, if you start catching another wave, then what about the foundation?
Yeah. So what happened when Treach came to K and said, what about me?
I guess that's when the friction started, you know? And that friction started and it became so much that by the time we got to 99 for our fourth album, after K produced that 4th album, we had left Tommy Boy and we were on Arista. because we were able to go to Arista because K had to deal with Next over there on Arista. Okay. So at that point, it was just so much tension. K was like, I'm out. And he quit the group in 99.
Wow.
So he didn't produce for that album?
Yeah, he produced
that
album.
Was the last album.
That was the last album. The 4th album was the last one. And then K was like, you know what? I'm out. It's just too hectic. I don't want to fight. You know what I'm saying?
And I heard one time that I think he was saying that he sold his part of the business, or like he gave up his equity at some point or something like that. K
quit the group. Yeah, and then he did. He gave up his equity in the corporation and the trademark. And well, it wasn't necessarily the trademark. The trademark expired. Okay. So by default, if no one re-registers, then once it's re-registered, you lose that. But once K quit the group, he was like, I'm out. And he did sign off his equity in the corporation.
How did you feel?
I felt like, God damn, this whole shit is crumbling. You know what I'm saying? Because at a certain point, it becomes crabs in the barrel because even the outside groups, they don't give a fuck about Naughty by Nature. They care about what their careers are going to do. They could get on and all that. Then you got all the homies who's like, yo, K is producing all R&B, man. What about hip hop? We could be competing. Then you got Rockefeller and State Property and all these niggas coming up and Dipset and all them. And our niggas at home like, yo, man, we got fucking heat out here. What's going on? So next thing you know, it's crabs in the barrel. And the whole infrastructure is falling apart. You know what I mean? And then that's where I'm looking like, damn, basically as a general manager of this thing, I'm like, we're losing it, fellas, and we're not staying focused. And I realized like after a while, the artists would come in, they would get on, then they would leave. And next thing you know, people are using your platform to get on and they're out and they could give a fuck about you. So I'm like, but look, we're artists. So we're producers and we're artists. But if we hold our ground, then we could always work and eat. And no matter who tries to come and go, we always going to be good.
Definitely.
So how did, so when he left, I think I came out with another album after that because I remember me being a kid and I seen you and Treach on there and
with 3LW.
Yeah. And it was like the IIcons album. It was like KG's not in it. I was like, what happened with KG? You know what I'm saying? Because like back then there was no podcast where people could explain these stories. Right. So I'm looking at 106 in Park like, oh man, it's not the same.
Yeah. So that was crazy. And then after K left.
What year was that?
That was after 99, that was 2000. So K left after the 1999 album, the Nature's Fury album. Yeah, and we hooked up with Brian Leach at TVT Records. He had Polo Ground, so he had Little John, Pitbull over there. He did Mike Geronimo and them, and he was tight with Irv and Chris Gotti and them.
Well, because they put them. That was their first opportunity.
Yeah, that was their first opportunity. Yeah. So we hooked up with Brian Leach and me and Treach. We did the IIcons album over there, and then at that point, I'm like, yo. Me and Brian Leach are in charge of the production. So we're not producers where we make the beats. Now we got to farm out all of this production and put all of these different producers together to do this thing. You know what I mean?
How did you like that?
I didn't like it at all. You know
did
what
you
I'm
find
saying?
another value with yourself doing that?
Huh?
Did you find another value for yourself?
Of course, because you could ask Brian Leach. Brian Leach from Polo Grounds, he would be a good one to have here too.
I
can hook y'all up with him to see if he'll do it. You know, but B Leach, he's the man. But you know, for us to do that, I did find new value in myself because again, I've always watched KG produce. I always saw the whole studio process. So when we had to go out here and solicit all of these beats from these other producers, some guys were beat makers and some guys were real producers like All Star. He produced the 3LW record. He's a real producer. He'll produce the record from start to finish. He's in there recording the vocals with you. Other cats are beat makers where they'll give you a beat, then you get your other producers in there or musicians in there to clean up this stuff. So I found myself behind the boards producing an album, me and Brian Leach along with Treach, and I'm like, it's cool, but again, this is not what I do. This is not even what I want to do. It's just that the whole house is falling apart, and we do have a brand, and KG stepped off, but shit, you know, and that was right when the digital age started kicking in. So, you know, not even streaming, that was the MP3 age where you went from selling $10, $12, $15 albums to 99-cent singles. You know what I mean? And they were fucking up the math then. So the game wasn't the same, the album budgets weren't the same, the video budgets wasn't the same, but the show money was good. So, you know, Treach and I, from that 2000 all the way to 2010, we just ran with the brand and was doing, you know, shows and shit. And K was, you know, producing his other acts.
Yeah, because y'all didn't drop an album for a while.
Yeah. Right.
Was that because it was like, we don't want to, that form, the way that last album was just like an indicator, I don't want to do it if KG's not there?
That's the way I felt. Okay. You know what I'm saying? That's definitely the way I felt. But Treach, you know, he was rocking with his guys, Garden State Greats Project. He had a bunch of guys, and Treach is like a nomad. So from West Coast cats to you name it, he always went out there and recorded with other guys. You know what I mean?
Right.
It was nothing
by heart.
Yeah. But, you know, in the scheme of things, I'm looking at guys like a Jay-Z or a Busta Rhymes or a Nas who, look, you could go out here, get with other producers, and put together a cool body of work. You know what I mean? So even if you're not working on like a Snoop did, even if you're not working with a Dr. Dre, you're still able to go out here and put together decent bodies of work where you could have a solo career, you know? And, you know, I don't think Treach was able to navigate that during that 10-year span, but he definitely has a lot of different records out there, bunch of different features. And, you know, I just always respected people's skill set, you know? And I think, like, especially when you have a lot of homies, they don't necessarily respect the skill set. I'm like, no, Treach is a real writer. He's a real rapper. You want to rock because you saw him get a check. You know what I mean? I've seen a bunch of niggas like, yo, KG does beats, yo, I'm going to get a beat machine and I'm going to go fuck with it. And like, no, K is obsessed with that music. He's obsessed with the studio, man. K is in the studio right now, I guarantee you. You know what I mean? But you fly by night niggas, you want a beat machine and you're like, yo, pick it up. Next week, it's like, it's sitting there collecting dust, man. And I'm like, yo, that's the difference, man. Y'all got to respect what the fuck people do, man.
That's a fact.
No, I agree. We had King Street on here, and I was kind of making that point because King Street was like, he never seen a work ethic like Jim Jones, because he said Jim Jones in the studio every single day.
Right.
Like, I mean, and you can hear it, because when you think of Certified Gangster to what he putting out now, you had to be putting in that work every single, because I mean, he stepped it up. I mean, whatever he was at the beginning, he 10 times, 30 times better now than what he was back then. And that take dedication, man. Like, you can't.
I just heard Jimmy call out a bunch of guys from his era too.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He was like, yo, I put up $100,000. Anybody from my era, let's rock.
Well, listen.
Word.
The thing with Jimmy is he got it at the end. So like, when you feel like you had to fight for that shit, you never giving it up.
Yeah, but they were like, Jimmy, with all due respect, we saw verses, sir.
Who was he battling just recently though? Was it from Virginia?
Pusha T.
Pusha T was Pusha T, right? Him going out. That shit kind of died out fast.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Pusha T. He's just as dedicated as Jim Jones.
Push.
You know what I'm saying? He takes on giants and win. You know what I'm saying? Because nobody said he lost against Drake.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? So, how did y'all get back together?
So we did a 10-month span, and it was just before VH1 Hip Hop Honors, because they were doing Hip Hop Honors and they were going through all the different groups. And it just so happened that K had a studio in Bloomfield, and there was separation there, you know, because really the friction was with K and Treach, which made K quit the group. So by default, you know, K and I weren't communicating, but Treach and K started communicating again. And then actually K was working on a solo project for Treach.
Oh, wow.
And then VH1 Honors called us for Naughty by Nature VH1 Hip Hop Honors. And then that's when, you know, we reunited there. And Treach and I have been touring for 10 years without K. So once we did VH1 Hip Hop Honors, the project they were working on turned into this Anthem Inc. project. And then Treach was like, well, K, this album is in the can. You got to come back on the road. So then that's when K started touring with us again after 2010.
How did that feel coming back on the road, doing it all over again?
Yeah, that was good because we were whole again, you know what I mean? And then the money gets better because it's the full group and, you know, everything is fine. And then, in essence, all of our family, because at that point, everyone has their own crew, and now everybody's coming back together, and our crew is like, bet. Niggas is rocking together again, you know what I'm saying?
Latifah, when y'all had y'all like separation, the Queen never tried to like reconcile things and stuff, like y'all greater together than apart and stuff like that. Was there anybody coming and trying to
well, Shakim has always been there, man. It's like, you know, even when we left Flavor Unit, Shakim was like, look, man, to be honest, we never had a contract with Flavor Unit. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So that
was love.
Yeah,
like,
So y'all never broke up then?
we never broke up. But the thing is that once they were representing us, when they stopped representing us and all hell broke loose, till this day, Shakim is still babysitting this situation. You know what I mean? So Shah's like, look, I can't get rid of y'all if I wanted to. So it don't matter if we had a contract or not. It is what it is with family. And, you know, we always going to rock out with each other.
That's dope. That's dope.
You know what I'm saying? So there's always been that intervention. But Latifah, you know, she's always had the position like, you guys came to us whole, and just like every other crew, y'all gonna go through y'all problems. You guys will figure it out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You guys will figure it out.
So the relationship is still the same.
Yeah, we just did Rock the Bells in Queens out here this summer.
Forest Hills, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know
We
that.
popped out for that. We came out on Latifah's set. So that was the first time Naughty was on stage together since the pandemic.
KG was with you guys?
Vin, that wasn't scheduled though, was it?
It was discussed.
Oh,
I'm not scared. Was KG with you guys?
Yeah, all
Nice,
three of us was
nice,
there.
nice.
Because Latifah had a segment where she had guests come out, and Renee from Jeanne was out, us, Fam from Rotten Rascals, and KG helped Latifah produce that segment. So we came out, and it was the first time people saw us since the pandemic. And then during the whole year of the 50th anniversary, Naughty, we haven't done anything. We haven't even toured since the pandemic. So when we popped out for Rock the Bells, we definitely shook the building down. Crazy.
Yeah, because y'all kind of put everything on ice for a little bit because y'all haven't mended. Y'all still haven't had that true sit down to put all things aside. Correct?
Yeah, correct.
How did how do you feel about that, man? Like, does that bother you? Like, because those are your brothers at this point. You know what I'm saying?
I think, yeah, well, KG and I, we have this project, the Illtown Sluggers project, but it's Treach who has been out of pocket. You know what I mean? Treach.
What do you mean by out of pocket? What do you mean by that?
Well, he just wants to do his own thing at this point. You know what I mean? And I just think that for us, you know, we were so young doing this shit, man. Like, when we were the new style, like I said, K has been doing this. We've all been doing this since 14, 15, 16 years old, from the block to the new style, to Naughty by Nature. And after a while, you go on a 33-year run. It's like, yo, we did a bid and this has been our entire lives. So this shit will absorb you. And although you make millions of dollars and you're living a life, it's like, you really detach from the real you. Vincent Brown, Kier Giss, and Anthony Chris.
Right,
you know
right,
what I mean?
right,
Yeah.
wow.
And it gets to a point where, although you go on the run, it's like when you settle in for a minute, and even when we take the breaks, it's like, wait a minute, how do I get me back? You know?
Yeah.
And it's like, I've been doing this shit for so long, I don't even know what it's like to be me without this shit.
Yeah.
Right,
You know what
right.
I'm saying? So not only, I could feel if Treach feels that way,
Yeah.
I'm sure all three of us feel that
Yeah,
way.
yeah, yeah.
And then when I have the breaks, I'm like, you know what, man? Shit, I gotta get back to me and figure out who the fuck am I, minus all of this stuff, and all of this noise. And it's crazy, And now I'm 53 years old, and I'm like, you know what? Well, I'm fighting for me and my life and my lifestyle. And I know that's there, and this is how I make money, but we are blessed to have our royalties and publishing and all of
Yeah, I
that.
caught a
So,
bag during the pandemic, I heard, man.
Yeah, we definitely
Talk
Hey,
about
you
that,
know what I'm
man.
Talk about
I heard
that
y'all
bag.
caught a bag, man.
Well, I think the thing is that, during those years, we started having the chaos and the confusion and the disconnect. And our business initially was always set up. And then, K separated his publishing and all of that. So his stuff was set up. But I always told K, I'm like, yo, K, there's money on the table for Naughty. Although we were still healthy with Tom Silverman and Tommy Boy and Warner Chappell, you know what I mean? I'm like, there's some money there. We need to pay attention to that. Kay was like, all right, yeah, cool. But then the pandemic happened. So while everybody was scrambling, I'm like, Kay, now is the time to look. So we called our lawyer. You know what? We were already on point with Tom Silverman and Tommy Boy. Because we cut a deal with them where they bought a third of our royalties during the pandemic with a 10x multiple. So we didn't sell everything. We just sold the third with a 10x multiple. Then I was like, bet, we're good with that. Let's go after Warner Chappell. So we had our attorneys send request to Warner Chappell, send our royalty statements. So we looked and we saw, because our first two albums on Tommy Boy, we did co-publishing deals on those first two albums. The third album onward, we did a co-publishing deal directly with Warner Chappell. Tommy Boy sold to Warner Brothers since then, and then the first two albums, which is O.P.P, Hip Hop Hooray, Uptown Anthem, those went to Warner Chappell. During the pandemic, when we sent for our royalty statement, they sent us the third album onward. Looked at the statements, where's the first two albums? They hadn't paid us in 12 years.
Oh, wow.
What?
Nice, though. But that
Big
it kinda
hits too,
helped, though,
man.
right?
Man, no puppy
And that
dog
was the
hits.
first two albums. That's O.P.P.
Hell yeah.
But the thing is the way our deal is, they can't clear anything without our approval. So what was happening is, and this is to any of you guys, you got to pay attention to your business. Whether it's streaming and you monetizing your podcast, whatever, pay attention to your cash flow, because what we realize is that they can't clear. We were in the Wolf of Wall Street, all these different movies.
Oh, my
Hip Hop
God.
Hooray. Leo
Right,
DiCaprio was at the bow of the
That's a
thing.
fact.
Hip Hop
That's a
Hooray in
fact.
the movie.
That's a
So
fact.
we have to clear all of those sync requests before they can approve it. Problem was, we were clearing it all, and the money was there. It's just sitting in the coffers.
Wow.
All they're doing is waiting for somebody to call and say, where my fucking money?
Wow.
But if you're infighting and it's all of this chaos, the money is going to sit in the coffers. No one's going to fucking call and ask for it.
Wow.
And then when you finally say, hey, it's the pandemic, where's my statements? Yo, the first two albums ain't on there. Oh, my bad. You're right. So then we had to go in here and get all of this shit together and settle and court the bag. So not
That's
only
right.
did we catch that 10x
Hold
multiple
on.
from Tommy
That's dope, bro. That's super dope, bro.
Not only did we catch that 10x multiple for a third of our royalties from Tommy Boy, we caught up with that 12 years on the first 2 albums, yo. And if you ask me, I'd rather grab that bag then, because everybody during the pandemic was scrambling.
That's a fact.
You know, a lot of niggas didn't have royalties. You know, a lot of niggas was living off the road doing shows.
Right.
We were plugged up like this during
That's
the
right.
pandemic. Like, y'all figure this shit out. Y'all go get vax. We ain't even got to come out the house, yo.
That's a fact. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
So we were able to wait everything out, wait it out. And we caught the bag. And now, you know, it even helped us to where we are today. It's like, not only did we recoup all of that money, but it brought our royalties up. And now, you know, we're on par with where our royalties are. And then the other beauty is the 50% that we did sell back in the day, as of 2026, it starts reverting back to us, that 50%. So the first album, the second album, the third album, the fourth album, every year, or, you know, times that 30-year reversion clause, it all starts coming back to us. So,
So y'all get your masters back and everything.
no, that's the copyright is a different thing. Copyright is the masters. The publishing is guaranteed. There's gray lines with the copyright, which is the masters. But publishing, that's written in stone. After 30 years, 32 years or so, you're publishing, whether you sold it or not, it reverts back to you.
Oh, that's it. Wow.
So the bag that we caught times what's coming up, beautiful, beautiful.
That you was young enough to see that 30 years. Like, that ain't, you know, not like you started that at 50.
Yeah.
Word.
40.
That's crazy.
Yo, like y'all business, man. I'm so happy that y'all don't have one of them stories where y'all go broke and
On drugs and
on
just
drugs
messed
and
up.
shit like that. Like, how did y'all know? Like, who was the one that was thinking about this business shit during the inception of all of this?
Well, it was all of us. For one, we come from the block, right? So, like they say, anybody who's from the block, they're capable of running a Fortune 500 company.
Right.
So, if you're able to maintain the block, if you're able to organize a crew, if you're able to take those proceeds and parlay it into a legitimate business, then you have something there. And again, we were lucky because we dodged a bullet with the Sugar Hill Records thing as the new style. Had we blown up as the new style, we would have been jammed up. But good thing that didn't work out. And then we got with Flavor Unit and we were able to organize our business, working with Flavor Unit, learning from their mistakes, having Queen Latifah and Shakim, plus our own business prowess. Then we were able to move forward and be business conscious. You know what I'm saying? And it carries us all the way through this years. But as you see, even though we were on point with our business, there's always some money left on the table if you look hard enough. You know what I mean? Either it's money left on the table or there's always something you could do to organize your business, talk amongst each other, and say we could tighten up this business and we could go after other potential streams of income. You know what I mean?
What was your biggest regret?
Not having kids.
You don't got no kids?
No.
Why not?
I'm the youngest of 7. My mom passed away in 88. My sister had twins in 86. And we were just running. And when we blew up in 90...
Wait, bro. Wait. Hold on. O.P.P. you said was out, right? Pussy was thrown to you. You probably got kids don't even know it. That's
worse than Too Short.
You know what? No, I did.
You have no children?
He just got a kid at like 50.
I did have a situation because, again, I think I fucked myself up, you know, psychologically because, again, I'm the youngest of 7, right? I got 5 sisters and 1 brother. So me coming up, and my mom was a crossing guard. Every 2 weeks, she made $250 on welfare, taking care of 7 kids. I'm like, I grew up in like Claudine and all that shit.
You didn't want this. You didn't want that.
But what I realized is that when I was coming up, this is what got me into hip hop. So I'm the youngest of 7. I'm watching my 5 sisters, and my 1 brother is older than me. He's like 10 years older than me, so he was never really around. But I'm in there with 4 of my 5 sisters. everyone's having babies, everyone's getting knocked up, everyone's collecting welfare, everyone's complaining about money, everyone's
so
playing
it turns you
backgammon,
off.
spades,
Yeah,
Colt
turn them off.
45,
Yeah,
Newport cigarettes, all that shit. And I'm sitting there, the youngest, like, no wonder nobody got shit. Because you getting knocked up, having babies, and doing this ghetto shit.
It had a profound effect on you to be 53.
You know what I'm saying? And I think it's part of that. And then somewhere along the way, a chick tried to play me like she was jammed up. And I was like,
Right.
you know, but basically that's my biggest regret. But you
still
know,
got
and
time,
I don't shit on my brothers and sisters. To me, it was like they were my inspiration to do something different and to break that family cycle. And it's not even a curse because I love all my nieces and
I was
nephews.
just about to say that. Those are kind of like your children
Those are
anyway.
your children right there.
But what I did was 88, my mom died, and I was 18. My sister had the twins. My youngest sister had twins in 86. So when I came up, and she held me down while I was in the streets and all that. So when we came up in 91, I bought a 5-bedroom colonial. I moved my sister and my twin nieces in with me and her boyfriend. And then in 91, she had a third child with her boyfriend. I moved them all in with me. So it was really like, my plan was, look, here's the crib for y'all. Eventually I'll move out and start my own family and y'all can have this. But shit, my sister's boyfriend, he was getting high. He crashed up her Acura. I had even bought her a Lexus and he crashed up the Acura. She called me, Vincent, this motherfucker crashed my car. I'm like, and I didn't give a fuck. You know, we was emmed up. I'm like, Sharon, it's just a car. Get another one. No, this motherfucker gotta go. So I'm like, listen. I'm like, well, listen, Sharon, look, I'm telling you it's not that serious to me, but if you kick this nigga out, he's not coming back. Oh, fuck that, he's gotta go. So she kicked him out, and it was just me, my sister, and the 3 girls. So I raised them. My twins were the first college graduates in our
never
family.
came back?
Huh?
He never came back?
Nice.
Nah, he never came back.
Nice.
He's back and forth, but
No, I
never
got
came
you, I
back.
got you, I got you.
You know?
That's ill. You holding them down like that, bro. Word.
So you wasn't even. So you really wasn't lonely. It was just like, cause you had family with you all the time and shit. Like
Yeah,
that, you know what I'm saying?
but that was jammed up because the 5-bedroom colonial, and then when we was in the streets, I got tied up. You know, niggas ran down in the crib, tied me up. So when I built that
Wait.
You can't skip that.
You can't
Motherfuckers tied you up.
tell that story.
That was old street stories, yo. We got set up. We got set up just as we was signing to Flavor Unit. And and I was the stash man. So niggas ran down, tied me up, robbed us. We had to start all over just as we were courting Flavor Unit.
How you gonna leave that out?
I don't know. We never got to that.
Did y'all ever have to go back to the streets once that happened, like to re-up and all that, or?
Yeah.
It's over now. You can talk about it.
It was an L. So we had to, but we were already courting Flavor Unit, you know. So we were getting there on the management tip. We were being shopped, and we took that hit. So you know, we still have bread to re-up and keep shit moving. But my point was, because that happened, when I built that 5-bedroom colonial, I dormered the 3rd floor. You know what I'm saying? So I dormered the 3rd floor, made my own suite up there, but it was horrible for dating. Because every chick I brought in the crib is my sister, the twins, and the other one. So y'all know, if you got a wife and 3 kids up in there, they growling at every bitch that come in the crib. You know what I'm saying? So for me, and it ain't like I dormed the basement and had the basement suite where I could sweep them in and out. They had to come in and go all the way up. So chicks always felt uncomfortable coming in the crib. You know what I mean?
Couldn't make this home. We already got a queen in this castle.
There was 4 queens in the castle. You know what I mean? So, but I'm still young. I still got time.
Yeah, that's a fact.
You can definitely do that. What was I dodged what was one of the biggest dodge the bullet moments? Like, thank God I didn't do that shit.
You know, for us, man, we've always been kind of standoffish in the industry. You know, we always had a crew. We always had a deep crew. And I think with us being from Jersey, you know, we were kind of on the outskirts. And then we never got into it really with New York niggas. Mm-hmm. And then with us being from Jersey, we never really was that close to the West Coast. And after a while, because Queen Latifah was doing Living Single, her family is law enforcement. And even before we started going to LA, she was already knee deep down there. She was running with Shari and them and Eazy-E and them and Ruthless Records and all of them. So for us, we had a certain love on the West Coast. Yeah. And then because we were close to New York, and we were kind of like outsiders, you know, it's like niggas don't really know our crew, but they know them Jersey niggas run deep. So our biggest, you know, thing that we dodged the bullet, that we never got into that beef. You know what I'm saying? We never really
because that was cool with Pac.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
And I think that was sort of a detriment because of Treach's relationship with Pac. Yeah. When it came to New York, and when that beef went on, New York doubled down. It's like, if you ain't from New York, fuck you. You know what I mean? Then when it came to all the Pac shit.
about that shit.
And it's like,
I'm not even gonna hold you
Treach is like, look, before all this shit broke out, me and Pac was on the road, Digital Underground, Queen Latifah, early 90s, so fuck all of that. That's my nigga. You know what I mean? But for us, politically in New York, when New York rightfully so doubled down, they like, if you ain't from New York, fuck you. And then Treach rode hard for Pac, still to this day. You know what I mean? Right, the Morning You Till I Join You record and all of that. So politically, it hurt us, but the bullet that we dodged, we never really had to go to war with either side. You know what I'm saying? And as you see right now, it's so crazy out here. These bodies are dropping like crazy. So that's the biggest literal bullets we could dodge. You know?
For real. You said your mother died in 88, right?
Yeah.
She missed your entire career.
She missed everything, yep. And I was 17 years old, about to turn 18. She passed in April, and I was 17 years old. I was about to turn 18 in September of 88.
Did she even see you graduate high school?
No, she passed in April. I graduated in June. I've been raising myself ever since. You know, youngest of 7, no father.
Your dad, did you know him?
Yeah. I know my dad. He was an auto body guy, but he wasn't really in the life like that. You know what I mean? Actually, he just passed last year.
Oh, sorry.
My dad.
Sorry about that.
But you know, other than that, like me, my sister, we raised those girls since I was 17 years old, man.
Wow. So you don't think about that, like, man. Because we had Corey Pegues on here, and he was another one who his mother died. Like his mother died when he was about 17, and right before he's about to graduate high school, or right after he graduated high school. And when he was selling drugs with the Supreme Team and stuff like that, and then when he became a cop, he just broke down in tears like right before the graduation because his mother never seen him doing nothing positive. Was it something similar to you like that? Did she even know you was in the streets?
Yeah, she didn't know. She didn't know. Like, if anything, she knew I smoked weed, but, you know, I was like a mama's boy because I always held her down because she was the youngest of 7. As a matter of fact, she had asthma and she was a crossing guard. So, literally, my mom died in my arms. So, I always remembered when I was coming up, every winter, my mom would have an asthma attack and get rushed to the hospital. So I remember that from like 6, 7, 8 years old, you know, because my mom was a crossing guard for like 18 years. So literally all of my life until she passed, you know. Wow. So I always put in my head like, damn, one of these days this is going to be the last fucking asthma attack. And I remember my nephew woke me up. So he was living with us at the time. He's like, Vin, Nana having another asthma attack. So she's sitting there and, yo, we were so humble with it that my mom slept in a recliner chair. So my mom was like such a gangster that, and I didn't even realize this. Like, I was coming up, my mom was a crossing guard, and she would go and spend the night with my dad a lot. But when she came to the house, she would spend the night and sleep on a recliner chair, yo.
Wow.
And I think that's because her breathing was so bad, she couldn't lay all the way down
down,
in the bed,
right,
you know?
right.
So she was on a recliner, and I remember this recliner was so raggedy. And my nephew come, yo, Vin, Nana having an asthma attack. So I'm coming there, getting her ready, same routine, call the fucking ambulance, blah, blah, blah. She's like, I'm dying, I can't breathe, I'm dying, I can't breathe. And we lived on the second floor of this house. And by the time the ambulance got there and put her in their chair, they did something. It was just cutting off her breathing. And by the time I walked her down to the ambulance, I saw her eyes roll right in the back of her head.
Man.
She was out of there. Then my sisters was at the top of the steps. I'm like, she's gone, yo.
Wow.
And that's how we went to the hospital. I saw her on the table. She just laid up there. And I'm like,
Right.
so I had to grow up super fast.
Yeah,
you know what I
right,
mean?
right.
Super duper fast. But,
Yeah.
you know, I think during those times, KG, he was like my rock because we were getting money and he was my anchor. And
He's older than you?
Huh?
KG's older than you?
Yeah, older.
Yeah. he's-
Just a
older,
year,
one
yeah.
year older.
Just a year. And, you know, we were working on all of this shit. So once he saw that, we were like, man, we really got to make this shit happen, you know? And we were grinding from there.
God damn. You think that changed you?
Yeah, definitely. You know, and again, I'm the youngest of 7, so I always had a different mentality. Like, I got to break this cycle, you know? And then I saw how hard my mom worked. But then I always thought, like, damn. So my mom died when she was 53, 54 years old. So I'm like, you know, a lot of things I didn't get to talk to her about. Like, what did you do with your life where, you know, I see in Black history, you got people who went to college and did all of this stuff or was least skilled labor. I'm like, what did you do with your life where you were just unskilled labor? You was a crossing guard and that's what you did, like in your later years of 53 years old. You know what I mean? So that made me say, damn, that times my brothers and sisters having kids, I'm like, it's got to be a better way. You know what I mean? It's got to be a better way. So that I was changed from shit when I was young. Young. You know what I mean?
Well, I got one last question. Talk to me about that Ill Town Slugger. I'm loving that shirt.
That's right,
man.
boy.
Yeah,
You got to
that
get
shit
us
was
that
fire,
mercy.
man.
That's fire.
No sign right here. That's our connection to get it.
That's right. That's
Don't
right.
start rolling your eyes, Until you see Vin, until you see it on the shirt, we gonna be on his ass.
Pause, yo. You got crazy. You did
Well,
good the whole show.
Right. You gotta pause him. No, but yeah. Well, I'm sure y'all seen some come here fresh off the block doing this thing.
Absolutely.
For sure.
So this project, Ill Town Slugger, is what KG and I have. It's a DJ hype set. It's a record label, artist management entity. And it was born out of basically Naughty by Nature. So 2017, I was running the Naughty by Nature online shop. There was a kid in Russia who had a character, bear character similar, called Plushy Gangster. And he had a Naughty by Nature hoodie on. You know, this was Naughty by Nature. So I'm like, damn, that thing look hot. So I need something like that. And then I worked with him and we came with this bear, but it still had the Naughty by Nature logo on it. So I showed KG, I'm like, yo, K, we got this bear, but, you know, we were having internal problems. It's like, but we can't make it a naughty bear and a naughty mascot. Got to figure it out. K was like, you know what? He's got a bat. Why don't we call him Slugger like Louisville Slugger? So I'm like, you know what, K? We're from Illtown, East Orange, New Jersey, Illtown. It could be Illtown Slugger. So the bear could be named Slugger. We could form a new group called Illtown Sluggers.
Wow.
And then from what you do with Divine Mill and developing artists, we'll have a record label, artist management. We'll partner up on this thing. And then that way we could use this thing without jamming it up with the naughty drama. You know what I'm saying? And we had a guy, our guy Kosh, K had a group earlier, Elite. And they had DJ Panda. So this guy wore the panda head and he was always into Marshmello and all of these, you know, EDM DJs. And that's why he was doing DJ Panda. So when it came to this, I was like, you know what, Kay? We could take Coach out of the Panda thing and we'll have him do this for Slugger.
Yeah.
So he'll be the DJ. We'll start doing DJ mashup shit. And then we could develop the artists and do what you love to do. So basically that's what we have going on with this. And then what y'all see with Sign, the first time we put him in action was when in 2019, just before the pandemic, we went on tour with New Kids on the Block. So it was Naughty by Nature, Salt and Pepper, New Kids on the Block, Tiffany and Debbie Gibson. Donnie Wahlberg knew what we were doing with this project with the DJ Hype set, so he let us open up the tour with DJ Slugger. So it was me and Kay and Slugger doing the DJ Hype set, and then after that, New Kids start the show, and then it was mixtape style, so all the other acts was blended into the show. So we started the show as Slugger, but then we went and got into Naughty mode, and then all three of us performed. You know, so that was the first tour. We did 55 arenas, and then the pandemic happened. Then 2022, New Kids went back out, and Donnie let us reset, and we came out just as Slugger. Naughty wasn't on that tour, and that's the tour Sam came out on with us again, and we did another 55 arenas summer 2022. So now we were able to reset, reestablish, and now we have distribution with Tommy Boy Records, pushing out, you know, music. And this game is hectic right now with all of the streaming and stuff like that. But because we have our legacy, because we have this DJ mashup shit, we've been able to navigate this thing and,
that's dope.
Give it a different look. Wow. You know what I mean? But ultimately, I'll say this on the record, you know, again, Naughty by Nature hasn't toured since the pandemic. I'm speaking for myself. I'm ready to rock out tomorrow. Eventually, hopefully, you know, we could get it back together and get Tretch on point and rock out, because we're definitely hemorrhaging millions of dollars right now. But I think it's a beautiful thing because Shakim has told us this, like, since we came out in 91, all the way up to the pandemic, we've toured every year, all year ever since. And Shakim was like, you know what? Y'all need to, minus the drama, y'all need to take a break. Let the touring market miss y'all for 18 months or so and come back fresh, come back with a new demand, let the market miss you. He said 18 months. It's been 4 years. I don't think he meant that long. But we'll get it back together, you know what I'm saying, eventually, hopefully. But in the meantime, Slugger is doing really, really well. We're just coming from Australia. We just bust them down out there. They love us out there. Our domestic booking agent is booking us out here. We working with Latin artists, Afrobeat artists, hip hop, R&B, and Advantage is us at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying?
Bug, you got anything?
Yo, kid, I'm proud of you, kid. You're humble. You're answered. I name our podcast as Thanks for Asking, so I would say thanks for answering. You did your shit, bro. I'm inspired by how you take care of your family. You know what I'm saying? You got a dope story, bro. Dope story. I appreciate you coming here and telling us your story. And I think in your future, you got a hell of a catalog, legacy, all that shit. You're dope, bro. You real dope, bro.
Yeah, thanks. And even I have a project I'm starting called The Playbook. If you look on my Instagram, my man NJ Soup, he's one of Jersey's hottest promoters. He's my first guest.
Right, I heard about him.
Yeah, and the playbook is, you know, we're calling people in so they could share their playbook on how they do what they do. So since he's Jersey's hottest promoter, I sat him down first. As a matter of fact, he was the inspiration for it because he had Mary J. Blige a couple of weeks ago come through for a walkthrough. And he was like, yo, Vin, I want you and your camera guy, Eric, to film me so I can have different content leading up to this Mary show. So I was thinking of concepts to do anyway. And I was like, yo, Eric, we sat with Super, we didn't have a name of the show. So Eric's like, we need a name of the show. I was like, you know what, chill. That's another thing. You know, sometimes when there's a need for something, you don't necessarily have to chase it. Let it come to you. So I'm like, you know what? I know we're going to interview him. We don't have a name of the show, but let it come. It's going to come. So he sent me a complex magazine, something called The Blueprint. and they interviewed Leo Cohen. So I watched the whole episode, and then I started reading the comments. And then somebody was like, yo, that's dope. Leo shared his playbook with us. So I was like, you know what, Eric? That's the name of the show, the playbook.
Yeah.
So I was like, our show would be, we're going to get with industry professionals or just people who are doing their thing, you know? This is not about the big stars. It's about the people who are making it happen. It could be a barbershop. It could be someone who's cooking and catering, and how you do what you do and what makes you successful and how do you sustain yourself.
Dope,
So Soup was our first one, and we're going to keep it moving. But what I do realize is that a lot of people look at me and say, Vin, you have a lot to share. You should do a book. You know, you're so knowledgeable. You're intelligent. You're articulate.
Right.
Share more. You know what I mean? So I'm going to use that to kind of pick people's brains and continue to share the stories, and people like, Vin, do a book. So eventually I'll do it and push out.
So when Triple Threat going on the playbook, bro?
I know. Triple threat. You got to book a few more gigs, man.
Oh, God. Here we go.
Put in some more work.
Nah, we got you.
Sam, thank you for linking this up, bro.
That's right.
You know what I'm
Thank you,
saying?
son.
Vin, thanks for coming through for us, brother.
Yeah,
Thank
definitely.
You, man.
And like I said, Sam and these guys out here, our Suffin and Linden family, you know, Naja, Gov, all of them, man. We've been coming out here, Southside Jamaica, Queens, since the Coliseum, Shirt Kings in the 80s, you know. KG's family, his first cousins are from out here, Naja and them, you know. So we've been out here, man. We've been eating at that McDonald's. They probably built 3 different McDonald's ever since the 80s. We've been out here, right? So we definitely have family. Big up Southside Jamaica, Queens, you know what I mean?
No doubt.
G, you got anything?
Yeah. This is a little bit off topic. Paul Righteous teachers from Jersey?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, so back in the 80s when you were saying nobody came out there was no connection between y'all two? Like this quickly.
Well, they are from Trenton, New Jersey, so they're about 40 minutes, 50 minutes from us.
Right.
So they're not in the Newark area. So we're East Orange and Newark. Soon as you go through the tunnels and the bridges, you're going to hit Newark. So us, Redman, Queen Latifah, Whitney Houston, Fugees, you know, Lauryn Hill, Wyclef Prize, all of them.
What about that other
Artifacts? All of them are from
Twin
there.
Hype from Jersey too?
Twin Hype, yeah.
From Jersey, right?
Twin
Come
Hype,
on, man.
and
Let's
they're
know my
from
hip-hop
Newark.
history.
Yeah.
What about the other group? The councilman, what's the name of that?
Do It All, Lords of the Underground, yeah.
That's right.
Do It All, yeah.
Right.
All of them
Funky
from
man.
Newark, right there. Actually, I just went to his birthday party the other day.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got a bubble out there.
Who was they under? Paul Righteous Teachers. Was they under the umbrella?
No, they were just
there was no connection
South
to y'all, right?
Jersey,
It was just
Trenton.
him Dolo.
Oh, right,
He wasn't
right,
under the native tongues and none of that, though, right?
Nah.
Was y'all native tongue?
No.
Oh, wow.
No, they were Flavor Unit.
No, we were
But
Flavor Unit.
was native,
It was all
tongue,
connected,
though.
like under the...
Yeah.
I don't think so, right?
Latifah was native tongue, right?
Latifah was
Yeah,
native
but
tongue
not all of
because
them, though.
remember, like I said, it was all about New York back then.
Yeah.
And Latifah cheated into
Yeah,
native
yeah.
tongues.
From
But I thought
And then she was from Brooklyn, right.
But I thought she brought y'all in as Flavor Unit.
Well, she brought us in as Flavor Unit, but by the time Flavor Unit was standing on their own, we didn't necessarily have to bleed into native tongues. Flavor Unit, when they did Flavor Unit Management, and Naughty by Nature was the first group signed to Flavor Unit Management, that was all Jersey, yo.
Yeah, no doubt.
That was all Jersey.
Yeah, I just want to thank you for coming by. You know what I'm saying? You were pretty articulate with your whole story, man. We really appreciate this. Anytime you over here, you feel free to come.
No, he's gonna come back. He gotta bring us our gear. And stuff.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying? And yeah, thanks for coming out. God bless. Good night.
That's some new shit, man.
That's some shit right there.
Yo, it's Detox. That's Bug Out. It's G-Vaz. It's my man Sam, the one and only Vinny Rock. Naughty by
Stop
Nature.
forgetting Prime Focus. He said
Prime Focus.
Prime.
This is gonna be a habit. I like it.
I don't like it though. I don't like it.
My man Prime over there on the boards.
That's right.
Bug gonna kill me every episode.
Right.
Fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Yo, thank you for coming, man.
Wow, appreciate
It's
you.
been a pleasure. It was a Thanks for Asking show. Yo, we out. Peace.
Hey, what's up, y'all? This is the legendary Uncle Vin Rock from Naughty by Nature. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. This is Thanks for Asking.